Welcome to the Phantom Zone.
All right, so our first news item that I'm seeing on here is... Oh no, is there one specific that anybody wants to talk about?
I mean, not a whole lot of news. We could talk about the Suicide Squad cast kind of being leaked, or like some of it being leaked, I guess.
That also Idris Elba is replacing Will Smith as Deadshot.
Well, yeah,
that's
rad
the best as hell.
That is awesome news. One way better actor. That's like an insane upgrade in acting ability.
Yeah, like a straight shot up.
It's also like, well, yeah, it's also like an obscene upgrade in that Idris Elba has like way more range and like is also willing to play like a bad guy.
He's also a bad guy in was it the Hobbs and Shaw movie that's coming out?
Yeah, he's got superpowers in that one.
Yeah, he's like a super soldier villain in that.
Okay, so I like the Fast and the Furious movies, right? And I hadn't seen the trailer for the Hobbs and Shaw movie until I saw Captain Marvel.
Were you very confused and then we're like, holy shit, no, wait, this is a Fast and Furious movie?
Well, okay, so I knew it was coming out, but like, here's the thing. I hate Deckard Shaw. Like, Jason Statham's character sucks because he kills Han, the best character in all of Fast and Furious, and I refuse to see a film where Deckard Shaw is considered to be a hero. Like,
well, didn't they reveal in one of them that he was like an undercover spy or something?
I have no idea.
It doesn't matter, man. It's bullshit.
Also the Fast and Furious. But
all I know is that Deckard Shaw killed Han and now is propped up to be a hero. Unless Han shows up in this movie and has secretly been alive this whole time, I am not seeing this movie.
Well, they have done that before.
And they should, because Han's the best character.
The only person that'll never come back is Giselle, because she gets too much money now. They couldn't afford her as well.
Well, I mean, Paul Walker's character can't come back either.
But I do think it's funny that there's at least one person crossing the streams, because he was Heimdall, even though they killed off that character at this point.
Yeah,
well,
and I mean...
wasn't he very vocal about how he didn't like Marvel, like being in the Marvel stuff?
Yeah, they also got James Gunn. Like, that's also kind of like a fuck you to Marvel. Like, that's pretty big.
Yeah, he's like not really... He has, what, like three scenes in Ragnarok? And in the other two Thor movies, he's like a little bit more in, and they're not as good.
In the first one, at least he's kind of important.
He's got a scene in Infinity War.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. He gets killed.
That's a great scene.
I was saying, like, he didn't really have a whole lot to do. And it's he kind of was also playing a character that there's not a whole lot history with that character.
I mean, none of the Warriors 3 had a whole lot to do. That's why one of them became Shazam.
Oh, yeah.
Hell
well,
yeah,
he was only the Warriors 3 2 times, right?
Yeah.
Because he's not in the first one.
Yeah, he was in the second one.
Him and his buddy, it's actually funny because he was doing, what was his show?
Chuck.
And then the guy that plays him in the first one was on Once Upon a Time, was Prince Charming. So Levi was cast first but couldn't do it. So then they're friends. So he did it. And then for the second one, the guy from what did I just say? Not Chuck, couldn't do it. So then he came back in and took over the role. So they like switched back and forth. And I don't think they're in... they're in 2 for a little bit, and then they're like in 3 for what, like a second they're in Ragnarok? They get killed off, like, I don't even know if he gets killed off on screen.
Yeah, dude, Zach Levi's character gets like stabbed first thing. No joke. He gets like who are and then stabbed. Done.
Yeah, because he had to go film Shazam.
Yeah, he had to go get buff for Shazam.
He got James Marsden. Gotta go film that Superman Returns.
Yeah, the only one of those guys that really got good screen time was Ray Stevens.
No, he got taken out too in the same scene.
Well, no, he got taken out too, but he gets way more screen time in all 3 movies because he's in that giant fat suit.
They have to put him in the more.
But he is in the best Punisher movie ever.
I love that movie. That movie is like...
Warzone?
Yeah, Warzone is fucking bonkers to the maximum level.
It's insane. I'll give you that.
Oh, it's a movie that knows what it is and is like, all right, we're going to be that. Like, we're going to be that to the max.
It plays with it very well, and I'll give you that.
Oh, to jump back into this story, this lineup of characters is interesting. Like, the only one I really know that's a new character is Polka Dot Man.
Yeah,
which
okay, thank
is
God it's not just me.
Mind blowing that that's even a choice because he's
No,
like one of those.
give me the weird, obscure ones. Like, that's what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy. He just
But-
pulled, like,
Yes and no.
seas.
The Guardians characters were a team already at that point, like those characters. Polka Dot Man's never been part of the Suicide Squad.
But the thing about it is the Suicide Squad is supposed to be kind of disposable.
Oh,
so,
yeah,
like,
he perfectly
which is-
fits in it.
Which is
Because
kind of
he's
like
gonna
the
die
problem.
first.
But that's like the problem with the first movie is, I mean, there's a lot of things problem with that movie. But then they also have like the main cast and then a bunch of like army dudes. And the army dudes are the ones that get like eviscerated as like it goes on. Oh, and also Slipknot because, you know, that guy's good at tying knots.
He can tie knots.
And El Diablo.
He can tie
Yeah.
knots.
But so like when I see like this list of the Polka Dot Man and Ratcatcher, I'm like, oh yeah, cool. And also King Shark, it's like, yeah, cool.
Well, the King Shark thing is like really surprising because that's a character they've actually surprisingly done an amazing job on the Flash TV show, and he actually looks fucking rad as hell. And he was literally just in an episode last week.
And is
Yeah.
voiced by Solid Snake himself.
You're kidding me.
Nope, David Hayter.
Oh man, that's why.
I guess I
King Shark-
gotta watch
Did
the
he
Flash
play?
now.
Did he play the other version, Alan, or just the voice when he's King Shark?
I want to say I think he had credit for just being the voice in.
Okay, because
Like-
we've seen the guy that becomes King Shark in the show.
Okay.
It's
Yeah, in
it-
this version, he's a meta that turned into like a shark dude.
Okay, cool.
It works way better, actually.
Can you answer one question about
Mhm.
this King Shark Man?
Uh,
Is he dummy thick?
God damn it! I've been trying to put that in for 30 seconds and everything's
too,
going
man.
over me.
I was waiting.
But like, just as like, this is a DC film I'm excited for. I like James Gunn. Fuck
Yeah,
all the people that like got him
Yeah, but
fired.
answer the
and
question.
Disney.
Yeah, to answer your question, yes, King Shark is dummy thick, and no, he can't sneak up on people because his ass cheeks keep clapping.
Do sharks have asses?
They do
It will-
now.
Yeah,
It will
King
be
Shark
interesting to see. I hope they do not go with that Arkham animated design, which is really
Oh.
fucking dumb. They need to go with like a giant hulking shark.
Is it the Hammerhead Shark design that
I
they
would,
did?
I would prefer
Because
that animated thing. No, they basically did like Baron Underbite. Like, I'll find a picture, but it was like a terrible where he's just like a dude with like a mohawk and like a metal jaw.
Okay, because I was gonna say I hate Hammerhead Shark.
Oh.
King Shark.
I actually think that they should go that way because the Flash TV show went with the Great White.
But the Great White design is so good because he's a great white shark. Hammerhead sharks can only see on their sides. You stand in front of him, he can't see you.
That is true. Well,
Are we bringing real science into a superhero movie now?
well, hammerhead sharks, to bring real science in here, hammerhead sharks are like they hunt like squid. This is what he looked like in the Arkham.
Oh,
the
yeah.
first Arkham animated movie.
I remember
Wow,
that.
this is really dumb.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is the one where like they're going into Arkham to get the Riddler.
They're breaking someone out. I remember that.
Uh,
The Riddler.
Because Harley fucks someone right before this scene?
Deadshot.
Yes!
Yeah,
I
that's it.
I was trying to remember. I was like, there was something about this
There's a-
movie I heard that was really stupid that made me not want to
Oh.
watch it.
That was
I
a
think
comic
that was
book
it.
thing that they brought in, though. She was kind of hooking up with him in the comics at the time. What's really dumb is that they have Killer Frost, the way she breaks in is through the morgue, and she's completely naked. You don't see anything when
Oh,
you see her
yeah.
zip up her costume. And it's really terrible.
Get that sex appeal, baby.
Yeah. So we can jump to one of the other two stories. I have not watched the DC Superhero Girls show yet. You put it in here, John.
Yes.
Is it awesome?
It's so good. Like, I loved it. It's all, like, the first episode's free up on Cartoon Network. Website. It's an hour long. It's basically 4 episodes put into one. Each episode's about 50 minutes long. And it's like really cool. Basically, it's about Barbara going to Metropolis for school. And she's like moving away from Gotham, and she's sad because she's like talking about how she almost got her group together, and now she has to start over. And, you know, on the first day of school, she like meets Jessica Cruz and Bumblebee and Supergirl and Zatanna, and then like Wonder Woman also shows up. Like, Wonder Woman is just fighting crime outside. She's like she's 317 years old, which is younger than most of the Amazons. So like the Amazons show up in the episode and they're really tall, and she's like about half their height. It's very cool. So basically the episode is Wonder Woman putting together everyone and like teaching them how to be heroes, and the girls are teaching Wonder Woman how to be like Diana Prince. And if you've seen, like, this was developed by Lauren Faust, who does My Little Pony. So I think it's like if you are a fan of My Little Pony, like instinctively you look at the characters and then it's like Diana's like very Twilight Sparkle, Batgirl's very Pinkie Pie with like a little bit of Twilight in there. Like Jessica Cruz is she's like the only one who kind of doesn't have like a descriptor for anyone else, but like Supergirl's like totally Rainbow Dash, and Bumblebee is Fluttershy, and Zatanna is Rarity. But like it's a little bit more than that. Like everyone kind of still feels like themselves. Jessica Cruz is like not a fan of being a part of the Green Lantern Corps because she's like all about like nonviolence and solving conflicts through talking and stuff. But yeah, it's really fun. The animation's really good. I instantly like fell in love with everyone. I think they're great. I think that show is really awesome.
Interesting. I was interested to see how they would deal with Jessica Cruz, because one of her main attributes in the comics is that she's agoraphobic.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess they're just like ignoring that for the most part for now.
I imagine it will come up at some point, but like the first time you see Jessica, it's her talking to Hal, who's also at the school. Like Wally West is also like he helps in the cafeteria. Like so, it's not just the superhero girls. Like you also get like the big villain for the show is in the first episode is Lex Luthor's sister.
Oh, Lena
Luthor. Yeah. And like so you do get like bits and pieces of like kind of like everyone else. Like Jim Gordon is dropping off Barbara at school, so it's not just like the girls like in their own
own. It's kind of like
circle.
Teen Titans Go, like in that way.
Yeah, but it's like more story driven.
Oh yeah, I'm saying in the fact that like you see like bigger world stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's awesome. It definitely looks cool, and I'm glad there is like another show that's like out there, especially like one that's different. Like I have like cousins and nieces, and like it's kind of like a cool way to get a new
like,
audience to these characters,
and like all the character designs are super cool.
Zatanna's is the only one that I'm not a huge fan of.
Yeah, like Zatanna,
I'm just not a fan of the purple hair.
Here's one thing is that they give like her costume when she first shows, like when Wonder Woman wants to know what everyone's like powers are, and she goes to Zatanna and she wears like the top hat and like the leggings and like the magician's coat, and she looks like classic Zatanna, and Diana's like, you're really powerful, but you need to know some humility, and like also that costume is not becoming of a hero, try something else. And Barbara tells Zatanna is like, oh, try a cape, and she like looks, and then the next time you see her is in like the New 52 Zatanna costume, which like not to spoil for later, but the New 52 Zatanna costume is really bad, and somehow this show makes that costume totally work. Like there's like slight tweaks to the design that like as a animated costume looks way better.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm gonna have to I'm like trying to click through to find the picture of that. Like I haven't found it yet. But that's cool. Like I don't know, I'm just like not digging on her hair. I don't know what it is, but like her being like this like jet black hair is like so synonymous with her. That's like the only thing that's like throwing me off. But she makes the most sense to be like kind of like the punky, like gothy kind of look for obvious reasons. So like it makes sense. She's not. Okay.
She's like the prim proper like rich girl.
Oh, that actually makes sense. That actually works too. Like her being like the super boarding school kind of kid.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And I guess we can pop into our last story, which is we talked about it several episodes ago, but so it was originally supposed to be a DC, the book's Second Coming. It is now going to be, because they canceled it, but they let them move on, at Ahoy Comics, who I've never heard of.
Ahoy Comics is a brand new publisher. Like they just started up like last year.
Oh, cool.
But Ahoy Comics is like done stuff with like Jamal Ingle and Grant Morrison and a bunch of other like kind of creators. I haven't checked out any of their stuff because it's it's like the problem with there's new publishers like all the time, so it's just like kind of hard to like know which ones are out there.
Yeah, the people that they have worked with though, like it's a good list.
Mm-hmm.
So this is definitely something I was interested in. I know Morrison had like a Jesus book coming out this summer too. So
He does.
Yeah, I don't know if it's with them though, because I do see that he's worked with them. But his book is more like how he did Claws, but with Jesus. So it's like Jesus, like warrior, second coming kind of thing. I think it has to do with Nazis too, where he's like coming to kill Nazis.
That's not it. I typed in Grant Morrison Jesus book, and is it the Savage Sword of
Yes.
Jesus Christ?
Yes, that is it.
Yeah, Amazon says it's already out.
I think that's for pre-orders. I think it comes out in May.
Okay, because this hardcover is like super dumb expensive.
Yeah.
So I think this came out maybe at one point, and now they're releasing it.
Re-releasing it? Okay. Because like when I saw it as like a list, it was like coming out this summer. So maybe they're doing like a reprint this summer?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, for some reason, like, I don't know, maybe I saw a reprint thing. But well, I'm always down for like a new take on like, cause this is like a comedy book, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting.
I was reading the description of this. It looks.
It's basically Jesus Christ comes back to Earth and finds that like superheroes have kind of replaced him as the saviors of Earth.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. So now he has to kind of like compete with superheroes. That's kind of like the shtick I'm getting from this, and I like that idea.
Mm-hmm. No, it's a good idea.
In a fight, Jesus or Superman?
Well, it depends. Does Jesus, can he make kryptonite?
That's a good question.
Can he turn water into kryptonite?
I mean, he is the son of God. He can technically turn water into stuff.
Well, they also have very similar origin stories.
Good point. Very good point.
I always like to tell people about the Patton Oswalt, Jesus as a superhero bit he did.
Was it on a comedy?
It was on one of his albums that he did, and it's basically him trying out for the X-Men. But they end up not needing him because he only has one pet. Like he's sure he can bring people back from the dead, but he can make sandwiches and
he can make bread and a fish and turn water.
And he ends it by saying, like having the X-Men tell him to go join the Avengers. Like they'll take anybody. They have someone with a crossbow, the bow and arrow.
Oh man, that's definitely somebody who will be in my list later on.
But yeah, this isn't like also like the first time like Mark Russell has made a comic about religion as a subject. One of the first kind of like big books I knew him about was a book called God Is Disappointed in You, which was like a Cliff Notes version of the Bible. And that was like a really hot comic for a while. And he did a sequel called Apocrypha Now, which I never read. But so like this kind of just seems like a kind of like return to form of him going back and doing satire of religion, which, you know, is kind of like, at least for me, is like kind of, you know, within his wheelhouse.
All right, sounds pretty awesome. Sorry, I got distracted because I did not know. I'll save it for comics, really, but I'll just say now. Apparently, the crime syndicate's showing up in this week's issue of Superman. I did not know that.
God damn it, Bendis.
And it definitely seems like they brought back...
Is Bendis bungling it or something right now with DC?
I like his Wonder Comic stuff. I have not really been interested in any of his Superman stuff. I'm also not really a big Superman character, Superman fan.
I mean, here's the thing, like, he can't fuck up the crime syndicate as bad as Jeff Johns did. So, hopefully he redeems them in a little bit, because I did not like Forever Evil at all.
Is it me, or most events lately have just been like, let's fuck up Robin?
That's definitely... Robin. That's like both big companies, though. Like they're just like, all right, let's do something that'll get. I think it's a lot of what can we do to get headlines in like mainstream media. So it's let's turn Captain Marvel into a Nazi or Captain America into a Nazi. Let's like kill a bunch of characters and make it about like mental health when it really has nothing to do with that.
No, I mean like Infinite Crisis. Robin was supposed to die.
Well, yeah, but that's because when the guy's in charge, like really is not like Dick Grayson. Like, and that's like kind of been the joke for so long is that he has an axe to grind with that man.
Yeah, which is why he basically has killed him.
I mean, I remember in Dead Man and the Flying Graysons, it was a Flashpoint tie-in, and Dick ends up dying, but ends up being Dead Man.
Oh, it's kind of fun.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
But I mean, that's like a fun Flashpoint idea. That's like, what if he died? Like, does his parents survive?
No, everyone gets taken out, even Boston Brand.
Yeah, because I think the whole thing is because it's not like because Bruce isn't there because Bruce is dead.
Yeah,
so like I don't even think Thomas is there. So like because Batman isn't there, they're able to complete the job.
Yeah,
It's something
and
like that.
Before what they did to him in what was it? Was it Nightwing or Detective or the main?
It was Detective, I believe, when he got shot in the head.
I mean, this isn't. People act like this is the first time this is something.
Oh yeah,
this
no,
bad
they've
has
been
happened.
doing
Do you
this
guys
forever.
remember what happened in Convergence where Earth 2 Dick Grayson got Barbara'd?
Oh yeah, that's right. He did get his back broken, or he got shot.
He got paralyzed. He got shot in the spine by 90s Joker.
Okay.
Was that the Oracle book?
That was the Convergence, which was DC's Secret Wars. Or
Well,
not Secret
yeah,
no.
yeah, but there was like a
It was Brainiac.
Gail Simone,
No. Brainiac broke into Vanishing Point.
Yeah, I think I know.
Where the Time Masters have, he basically stole a bunch of Earths.
Yeah, John, I think
Well,
the book you're thinking of, is that the one with where Stephanie Brown is Batgirl?
This was a specific Convergence book. I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah.
There was.
Oh no, I'm talking about the Convergence.
Story plot? No, he was just wondering if it was one of the specific books that was part of Convergence.
No, it was actually the main Convergence storyline.
Okay, I didn't read that. I didn't read that shit.
Yeah, because I think, John, you're talking about, there's a couple of side ones. I know there was one that dealt with the, what do you call it, where Stephanie Brown there's the two Batgirls, Stephanie Brown and
Cassandra Cain,
and then, I'm trying to think I think Dick is with them as Nightwing. It's either Dick or Tim. And maybe it's Tim and he's Red Robin. He's in that weird Robin costume where he has the cowl. That kind of Kingdom Come look.
This sounds wild.
It was not good, but some of the one shots were good.
Okay.
Seeing the vampire Batman world again.
I highly recommend the two issue JSA one, 7 Earth 2.
Yeah, if you link them somewhere, I'll buy them on Comixology for 99 cents.
I feel like I'm on crazy pills right now. What am I thinking of? Because it was a book with Oracle and Nightwing, and they get married, and I thought it was a Convergence book.
Are you thinking of Batman Arkham Knight?
God, no.
I love the response.
It's honest.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Maybe I'm just thinking of a book that I thought existed that actually never existed.
None of us exist. We're all just in your brain.
That was definitely a story at one point. So it could have been one of the, because they showed every world in that book, that we every else world that was super famous. So I have no memory. I guess we can jump to our last big news topic, though, is Captain Marvel came out, and
one more thing. Brian K. Vaughan's writing a live action Gundam movie.
Yeah.
I heard about that.
I
don't understand why Gundam has not been live action for forever.
Well, I guess we're getting that this time, and I'm super excited.
Because I assume the rights holders of Gundam in Japan didn't want to
Isn't it Bandai?
Yeah.
Bandai Namco.
They're the ones that make all the games.
Well, and they make all the figures and stuff too.
Yeah.
Hey Lou, do you think they're gonna make the Mexican ones?
Oh god, from G Gundam.
Okay, I'm looking at it right now. Convergent, Nightwing, and Oracle by Gail Simone.
So they had their own book. I definitely I didn't think you were lying because I read all those books. I don't know why, but I did.
Well, I'm referring to
you're talking about the main Convergence book, Al, right?
Yeah, the main Convergence book. Thomas Wayne he's taking Our Man's pill. He stole pills from Our Man.
Oh yeah, he's isn't he taking Metamorpho stuff or something?
He's taking sort of the pills from Injustice.
Yeah, because he's all hopped up on drugs. Because that's the weird Earth 2 that they made in New 52.
Yeah, where
it's weird Jay Garrick in a weird outfit, a space helmet.
It was written by James Robinson, then replaced halfway through by Tom Taylor, and that book just died when James Robinson left.
The book wasn't super to begin with. They created a new character, and it was all weird. They were literally doing Secret Wars, but with DC.
Well, and also it came out at a weird time. It just didn't make sense for what they were doing with the mainline DC stuff, and it also just felt super derivative from what Marvel was currently leading up to, or in the middle of doing with Secret Wars, and it's just the Shazam book's cool. And reading Brian Q. Miller writing Stephanie Brown again as Batgirl was really cool.
Yeah, that's the one I remember because it was really awesome.
And the Renee Montoya question book written by Greg Rucka was cool. But it's for the most part, I was what? It just made me mad that this wasn't the current DCU anymore.
Well, that's what one of the things was they did it basically oh look, here's all those characters you really liked where they were. Because there was the Green Arrow meets Connor Hawk book, and I think that was the Green Arrow tie-in where like the current Green Arrow meets a Connor Hawk that's not like it's his son, but from like a different version. So he's just like, holy shit, I have a son.
And it's them versus Black Canary and Oliver's daughter from Kingdom Come.
Oh yeah, and then one of the other ones is like the Vampire Batman versus somebody else. The Vampire Batman's just let this world die. I can't remember what character he's talking to, but he's just like, yeah, this Earth doesn't deserve to exist.
The best one, or one of the best ones, the Captain Marvel one, was them against
the Shazam one. Yeah,
Shazam against Gotham by Gaslight Batman. Man, that DC event was weird.
It was basically like a nostalgia dump for like nerds, but like in the middle of like nothing with no setup, brought to you by a new character that was one and done. And
I
then
thought he got his own mini after
for 5 issues or something. Like he got like a mini thing, and then we don't talk about it anymore because then
then they got put on the shelf like Pandora.
Oh god! But then Pandora came back and got shot in the face.
No, Pandora didn't get shot in the face. She got
laser blasted.
No, she got blown up by Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah, because that was like one of the like, all right, we're done.
Where she's running around saying, "No, you can't do this to me. You can't do this to me." Boom.
I remember when people thought that she was supposed to be Doomsday's daughter.
What?
At one point, yeah, there was like rumors for a while, which then they turned around and then made a character that is Doomsday's daughter, who once again we don't talk about because she sucks. Grail.
Real?
Yeah.
You're thinking Darkseid. You said Doomsday.
That's what I was thinking, not Doomsday. I'm sorry, I was talking about Darkseid. My bad.
And that immediately got me thinking Dr. Doomsday from the Amalgam comics.
Oh god. Those can definitely be in our conversation later. All right, let's touch on the last news story, which is basically Captain Marvel came out and just like all the terrible nerds said, it was going to bomb. It totally did. It only made $500 million globally. Totally tanked. Was a terrible, horrible movie.
Yeah. Pour one out for everybody involved in that because they clearly didn't get the attention they deserved.
It's like three of the four of us saw it
in the dick.
3 of the 4 of us saw it. I would just say like I really enjoyed it. I think I liked it more than I liked Wonder Woman. That's just my opinion. I'm not sure. Do you get Alan John? Is there any like broad non-spoilery thoughts you want to give on it?
I like Wonder Woman more. I think I like Black Panther more also. I think Black Panther more. I think of like the last. Like, I think the movie was still good. I think it was, it had, like, a lot of really fun moments. It was, like, a really cool buddy cop movie. Sam Jackson, like, it basically gets to have fun, finally, in one of these movies.
And they basically perfected the time machine technology, because holy shit, he looks
Sam
flawless.
Jackson or Coulson?
No, Coulson does not look so good. They look like they spent, like, $5 on his. Samuel Jackson's thing is amazing.
But Maria Rambeau's cool. The scrolls are cool. I think like some of the action is like not great. I think some of the jokes are like it's like jokes are like kind of 50-50, but like Brie Larson's like super likable. I really like Captain Marvel, you know, in that stuff. I think a lot of the 90s stuff is super heavy-handed for like every one scene where it does work. There's like 2 or 3 that just is like I don't know. Like
I really dug the 90s stuff. Like I think I'm the oldest one here, so like I was in like elementary and middle school for the 90s stuff, so like every time there was like a 90s, I was like, oh my god, this is like literally my childhood stuff. This is hilarious.
That's nice. That's really cool.
So I was like, I thought a lot of that stuff was funny. I think if you're a little younger, maybe it doesn't hit as well. Like
That's
I don't
fair.
think the 90s have as much like nostalgia factor as like the 80s do yet, because they're like,
well, most of my early memories are 90s memories of stuff.
I would say the music in this movie is fucking awesome. Like
I think there's like music. The music's fine, but I think too much of the music is like way on the nose.
I don't mind that. Like I would say, like comparing it to broadly to Wonder Woman and Black Panther, I think Black Panther
like there's a like the first kind of like big. Okay, I'm trying to think of like one specific one where.
To me, the big difference is in Black Panther, I love Black Panther, but what's funny is Black Panther is the least interesting character in that movie. I don't think that is not the case in Captain Marvel. She is the most interesting character to me.
I think she's fine, but
Like I think
I want to go back to the music thing. Like there's one music instance where not to spoil like why the song is, but it's like the big kind of like moment for her.
yeah, I had this discussion on the Phantom Zone,
and the song that plays is "I'm Just a Girl" by No Doubt, and I'm just like, okay, and like there's one that's also just super on the nose. That's by Nirvana, and I was just like, come on, you guys! Like the music choices are good, but I feel like you could be a little bit more inspired about the music.
They're not as good as Guardians, which I
No,
think is
no,
what they were,
definitely-
which is
definitely
what they were
Guardians
going. Which is
Guardians
what they were
wins
going
the
for.
soundtrack game.
Yeah. Which is
But-
funny because I did watch Guardians like the first half hour the other day.
Mm-hmm.
They had like every Marvel movie on Saturday or Sunday,
Mhm.
and which there's a lot of stuff from Guardians that obviously ties into this movie. And I was like, ooh, I'm picking up on things that like I didn't pick up the first time, like in that movie. Because like when we first see Ronan in that movie, I'm like, oh, I never realized like that little weird pool he's coming out of.
Yeah.
I think is supposed to be like a pool of blood of like Xandarians. Because he kills the one Xandarian and the blood drains into the pool he just came out of. I was
yeah,
like, oh, I
he
never
bathes
picked up on
himself
that.
in the blood of his enemies.
I was like, ooh.
Oh yeah, and Ronan kind of sucks in this movie, and this is coming from
he's like-
someone who, and this is coming
He's
from
like
someone
barely
who,
there.
but this is coming from someone who really liked Ronan in Guardians of the Galaxy. Like Lee Pace just seems very bored, collecting a paycheck, doing his thing.
Oh, he's in like one scene, kind
Like
of.
but like I think like overall, like I think I give it like, you know, like a solid 7. Like I think it's in like kind of like the pack of
Oh, it's
good
in that- I
Marvel
put it-
movies.
It's in
not
that
the
middle
great
pack.
ones. But you know, the other thing about it is that I think that, you know, necessarily the movie didn't have to speak to me because it's like, you know, the movie like obviously spoke to like a lot more people, and I think necessarily not every Marvel film needs to be tailor made for me or the general like male nerd audience. So it's like if this is the movie that got like a bunch of new people like interested in the Marvel stuff, then that's super cool.
I do want to point out that it's interesting. So the second leading country was China, which makes a lot of sense. And but they did have one of the, I guess supporting actresses is Chinese. She's one of the Kree.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was in like Crazy Rich Asians and stuff like that. She's been in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, and her character is like really cool in that movie.
Well, she's a comical character. She's actually one of
and I
Arrow's
don't
big
even
villains.
I don't even like the Kree, and I thought she was cool.
Oh, that was the biggest thing. Not to get, I like the mythos building that they did between
Thank you, John.
Kree and Skrulls. So
Yeah, like
Or thank you, Alan.
And this is like comic fan me. I hate the Kree. The Kree suck
yeah,
so much.
They're pretty generic.
well, they're space zealots. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
They're like space fascists.
But this movie, like I feel like did a kind of a good job of, you know, doing stuff with them, and it wasn't just but like also the problem is that there's a bunch of Krees and they all like I feel like they're all the same, and this movie did kind of a good job of like making at least like 3 of the Krees like their own characters.
Oh yeah, that little team is like you're like, oh, there's like Beard Guy and there's Sniper Girl and the Jude Law and the what's his name? I'm gonna destroy his name. Hansu. What is his name?
Korvac.
Yeah, that was in Guardians, but like I can't remember the actor's name. Was like Jorman Hansu. He's from Blood Diamond. So, but like that little team is cool. I like what they do. I love what they did with the Skrulls. Not to get into it, I think they look fucking awesome, and I love the way that they shapeshift. It is way different than I have seen other movies do the shapeshifting, and I liked it a lot better. And I thought all the acting was very good. I don't think anybody was like bad.
No.
Was it
Like,
as good as that one scene in Terminator 3?
Which scene in Terminator 3? Because there's not a lot of good scenes in Terminator 3.
I stand correct. They're all beautiful Emmy-winning scenes. You should all go listen to them.
Schwarzenegger's favorite scene, according to the commentary?
No, like I've seen that movie a bunch of times. I have not seen the commentary.
No.
What's his favorite scene? Is it the shooting everybody in the graveyard scene?
No, it's what's the name of the model that Cristiano Loken plays?
Oh, she's like the TX or something.
She sees
where she blows up her boobs.
Yeah, and on the commentary, Schwarzenegger is like, "It's the best scene."
Oh my god, that is not surprising.
I feel like we should veto talks about Terminator 3.
Don't worry,
Terminate
that
those.
was the only one.
It could be worse. It could be
Genesis.
Terminator 4
Genesis.
or Genesis.
Genesis
Terminator
is
4
worse than
not-
Salvation. I'll argue that to death.
Yeah. All right. So why don't we do some quick hits of some books that we have been reading and want to talk about? I know me and Connor have one. Does anybody want to go first, or should me and Connor get into talking about?
I'll go since I just have a trade and a single issue to go over.
Okay. All right. I guess me and Connor will jump in first. So we have been reading. I don't know if either of you two have. I don't think so. The
No,
Batman Who Laughs.
it's just the two of us, as far as I know.
But issue 3 came out a little while ago. Next week, or this coming week, tomorrow, we'll have the first issue of the, what is it? It's not Darkest Night. What is it?
The Grim Knight.
The Grim Knight, who plays a huge part in the 3rd issue of The Batman Who Laughs, which at least a big chunk of it stars James Gordon Jr.
Which is cool. I like him as a villain and as a character, too.
And basically they reveal that he has been in basically Batman Bruce has put him into a program where he has been taking drugs to kind of cull his psychosis. So he literally just works in like a stockroom, and his dad and Batman basically go to him and they're like, yeah, we need you to like not be normal for a second because you're the only person that's like so psychotically evil that can kind of help us deal with the Batman Who Laughs. And he's like, I don't know if I can actually do that because I'm like super drugged up. And then the Grim Knight shows up and takes James Gordon Sr. And it is, the fight between the two Batmen is goddamn awesome. Especially when like...
Oh man, it's like two peak Batman just like going crazy.
Yeah, there's like a bomb on an airplane involved. And basically the Grim Knight is like, oh, you're not really like blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, you think because like I don't use a gun, that doesn't mean I don't know how to shoot them.
Mm-hmm.
But I do, my favorite parts of the book, which I don't know if this is for you, Connor, is when the Batman Who Laughs goes to the Penguin and is like, yeah, everybody thinks that it's going to be the Joker or this, that's at the end. And it's not true. It's actually you, Penguin, because by the time I get to you, I always leave you for last. And you basically acquired the entire city with your criminal empire. And he's like, yeah, so you're actually my greatest villain. And like,
yeah, that's such a cool little like fuck you to everybody who's like, yeah, I don't like the Penguin. Like, no, dude, he's nasty. Like he digs in and he's like a tick. He just digs into the skin and just sucks the blood.
I thought for a second he was like, you know who my greatest villain is? And then it's like you turn the page, it's like Batman pointing at the audience.
Oh!
It's like, because you continue to read these stories and they never end because I can't have a proper ending because you people keep on buying my book. So there'll be always evil within Gotham City.
So the Batman Who Laughs would turn into Deadpool?
Yeah, just break
well,
that
it actually would not be like out of character for this character, but there's two other things he does that are awesome. Is so he's been pulling out these other Bruce Waynes from other universes, and he basically like, yeah, this one figured out how to beat you by basically becoming like making a better casino and basically driving you out of business.
Yeah,
he, like,
I think
brings
that's so
him-
cool.
And the final thing is, as he's leaving, he kills that guy in Penguin's office, and then as he's leaving, he's like, "Oh, if you want to know like why like you're losing money and all the dice are working like normal, look into one of your associates, Matches Malone, and just like leaves, basically like killing that entire, or like at least putting Penguin on the path that Matches as like a snitch."
Yeah.
But the ending here is what is huge because one.
The ending is rad.
So the Joker kind of is recovered from his injury, and he kind of leaves. And then basically, because Batman's been like infected with the thing that would make him, like our Batman's been infected with the thing that would make him the Batman Who Laughs. And basically at the end, because James Gordon can't help him, he basically like is like, Batman isn't good enough. He's not strong enough. I need to become something else, something different. And Alfred's like, what are you talking about? No, it's perfect. It's good. And then the last page is him putting on the kind of masked cowl of the Batman Who Laughs. Like he built his own.
Yeah, he's succumbing to the madness because that's the only way to fight it.
To fight like the madness with madness.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, this book is like fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's going off the walls. I have no idea what they're gonna do with this now. Because like he's going fucking insane, and this I don't know. Are they gonna bring other people in to help fix this?
Yeah, I don't know. It's really interesting. It's again, this is a Snyder book. The art is great. It's done by Jacques. And I can't wait for the first issue of The Grim Knight to come out this week. It's gonna be awesome. Which it is basically like Batman Deathstroke, I guess.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see what it's like. Well, yeah, it's because it's the Bruce Wayne that grows up and becomes like a weapons dealer. So
I think they said that when his parents get shot, somehow his dad, as he's dying, wrestles the gun away and it falls in front of Bruce. And Bruce picks it up and kills Joe Cool.
yeah,
And that is the difference in the origin story.
yeah.
So this Bruce is not afraid to use guns.
Oh no, he's quite proficient in them. Like
Mhm.
that's his whole thing. He murders his way to the top.
Yep. And I guess that's it. I can't wait for the next one, but that book is fucking rad.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Is it? Is it Norrin-Rad?
Oh, God. I don't know.
Well, that's for you to decide.
He takes how many hundreds of years to become worthy? Oh,
Man,
no.
quite a long time.
Yep. All right. Who wants to talk about their thing next? John? Alan?
Alan could go.
Okay, so I read the Green Lantern issue 5.
Oh, yes. I did that too. It was...
Oh god, the series, it just gets better with each issue.
Oh, it's pure Grant Morrison.
Yeah, and Liam Sharp was also on his game, really good on his game. And the whole throughout the issue, we're seeing how on the vampire planet,
Which is pretty awesome. It's kind of looks like alien stuff to me, like the way that it's like
H.R. Geiger.
Yeah, H.R. Geiger kind of look to it because it's like very dark and slimy looking.
Yeah, and then there's a what kind of creature was that? That was it a maggot? Like a giant maggot?
Oh yeah. Because they're on like the vampire world, and he's trying to become a dark star. And yeah, there's like a giant like tapeworm thing that comes out.
Black Star.
Yeah, Black Star. Sorry, what did I say? Dark Star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's happily going along with trying to prove himself so that he can join. And halfway through, and we got the reveal that honestly everyone was expecting, that the Guardians sent Hal into this whole thing as sort of like going undercover because there's a mole
in the core. Yeah.
I bet it's that actual mole that is a Green Lantern.
And they used the word rebirth, or Grant Morrison used the word rebirth.
Yeah, because it is interesting how they go into his like kind of crucible to become because like he has to get the 3 items for his outfit. So it's like the helmet, the gauntlets, and then I think the suit or something like that, right?
Yeah, and I forget the leader.
Oh, the vampire queen lady.
Yeah, it's a very short name, and she's just like, "This is your rebirth. Choose your new name." And I think it could have been Dark Star or Black Star. Not sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna open it up. No.
And he chooses Parallax, which is fitting considering Parallax Rebirth.
Black. They're Black Stars.
Okay, Black Star Parallax is his new name. And I'm only just gonna say this about Young Justice issue number 3. I did not see that coming with
Oh no, yeah.
With Superboy.
Yeah, that was a book you read too, right, John?
Yeah. So this book is like pretty good so far.
Yeah, the second one was not
much
really
happened.
anything going. The third one was like, oh, it kicked it up a notch with the stuff with Impulse.
So there's like kind of like this middle part with like how Connor ended up in Gem World that I think is like the art's like super iffy, like
because that's because it's the art duties for the episode was split, or not the episode. The issue were half Patrick Gleason, half Victor Bogdanovich.
Well, yeah, and that's what I was like getting to. But like it like I don't mind when you have like a double duties on an art book. My kind of like problem is like when you have like the art that you have like doesn't really go well with the rest of the art in the book, so it's like a little jarring.
They don't mesh.
Yeah, and so yeah, like the Superboy stuff in the middle, I think is like pretty like it is what it is, but like once you kind of get back to Gem World and all the stuff that's happening with him there, like the Patrick Gleason stuff is really good. And then like the last couple of pages like is the rest of the team stuck in a hole.
Yeah, you just see the word balloons and like it's focused on the hole, and they're talking, and you don't see them at all. They're like the Teen Green Lantern's here. It's Teen Lantern actually. It was.
Yeah, I like the idea of the hole though too. Is like it's messing with their brains so they can't think properly. But there's one other thing we learned. One of those other guards is from Earth 2. The guy with like the purple knight helmet. But we also learned that Connor's been there for like
Years.
A real long time.
He has
No,
a
I've
wife.
only been here for like an hour.
He
Well, like,
has
based-
Yeah.
a wife and a kid.
How dare you slander my children?
Oh, there's also like this 2-page spread with Cassie fighting like more Gem World soldiers with Amethyst and Robin and
Oh yeah.
and like that's like pretty cool too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and Amethyst is basically like yelling at them to stop, and then Cassie's just going full like warrior because she's fighting was it Opal?
Yeah, like well, it's like Dark Opal's like forces.
Yeah, but I think that main guy is Dark Opal,
Oh,
the like Doctor Strange looking dude,
hmm
and everybody else is in like weird Iron Man stuff. But then yeah, I don't know, I do like that part. I am glad that like we're kind of getting back to stuff, but it is interesting, like the story they're going with. But yeah, like I just looked through the issue again, and yeah, that arc switch is like I get they're trying to make like him look way younger in that flashback, but like he doesn't look like the same character at all.
no.
All right, Alan, was there any other books that you wanted to bring up, or
Yeah, Flash Road to Flashpoint.
all right?
Because it starts off with its issues I think 7 or 8 to 12. And the first issue is Reverse Flash Rebirth. And this like volume of Flash started nearly a decade ago after Blackest Night ended. And while Brightest Day was going on, so Reverse Flash came back to life, and it's sort of back like Reverse Connor talks about one Phantom Zone episode that was on. He mentioned how petty and how obsessed Eobard is with ruining Barry's life. He mentioned a Flashpoint, or he mentioned him erasing kids from the timeline. Like,
Oh yeah, he did do that. His like best friend growing up.
yeah, he erased it. So you see a panel with the Flashpoint tie-in. You see Barry playing with a friend, and then next panel, the friend is gone, and Barry looks sad. Expect a whole lot of that. Or I didn't expect the inspiration, because there's constant time changing within this issue. Like his brother, who he resents, is costing him time, and he's saying things like, "I hate you. You're costing me time," and he erases him from the timeline. He wants to work at the Flash Museum, and the guy running it, or the head of the Flash Museum, doesn't like him, so he gets erased. He falls for a girl, but then she meets someone, so he kills him in a way that's what happened to the girl's fiance, or what happened to her then fiance, is similar to what happened to the reporter that got reverse flashed on the Flash.
Oh, okay, in season 1, the vibrating hand.
Yeah, and it's you get the sense of how much he is and how he's just crazy, and it ends with him like cheating time to like literally essentially using cheat codes to prop himself up to the point where he becomes the Flash of his time. And you see as he's holding up a girl that he saved, you see another Eobard in the Reverse Flash costume. It is, and the thing is, I was reading it while listening to the Flash Season 1 soundtrack. God, does that make it even better.
Yeah, that book was definitely like really awesome, and helped lead into the entire idea of like how Flashpoint gets kicked off. So.
Yeah, and that issue focuses mainly solely on Eobard. 9 through 12 focus on a murder case and someone new arriving, and those two are interconnected. They find a dead body of someone who looks like they've literally had they find a dead body. It's an old man in a costume. Barry runs fingerprints, and it comes back that it's the elongated kid.
I don't remember that part of that story at all.
The elongated kid. What will they think of next?
The longest kid.
They then, or as Barry is like he wants to call Patty Spivot, have her come in and analyze some of this, but she's she's not, like, she's in a different, they're not on good terms.
I forgot about that character that she was actually in the comics.
Oh, they loved her so much. They loved, apparently.
Yeah, she got put in the show.
No, I'm talking about she replaced Iris.
Yeah, well, she was a better Iris for a minute.
Yeah, only for that minute. When I say that minute, I'm talking about the Manipul Bugalato run in New 52.
Yeah, and then she's gone and never spoken about again.
Yeah, it's almost like she's Dr. Manhattan.
That's like a Phantom Zone joke. All right.
Oh wait, can I just say how the whole thing, how the whole thing ends up? There's a character called Hot Pursuit.
Does he have the need for speed?
He is on a futuristic cycle.
Good.
Oh.
And we find out that's it's an alternate Earth version of Barry, and instead of his bike, or not bike, his cycle, or his Tron-like cycle, is how he has super speed, like doesn't kinetically generate himself, and that's where we get the whole Barry Allen he generates the Speed Force. And while this is happening, they find another dead body, and a little kid is found inside a shipping cart container. And that while Hot Pursuit is about to kill Impulse, or K-Flash at this point, that little boy turns out to be Eobard Thawne, who then who finds Hot Pursuit, and goes on a thing about, I cannot kill Barry, because if I kill Barry, my timeline disappears. But this Barry is from a different Earth, therefore I can kill him and there will be no repercussions. So he literally steals his life essence, basically steals everything, and all that's left is his helmet and his costume. And that leads into Flashpoint.
That book seems like a real bummer.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's like the entire book is like basically what drives Barry to cause Flashpoint. And it's this Eobard Thawne just fucking with him in all the ways you can possibly think of.
I'm just...
And in the chat, I put one of the books I'm buying this week is Dastardly, Death of the Rogues. That's just the first part, or the first half of that 11-issue arc.
Can we go back to Heroes in Crisis for a second? I get the idea that Eobard Thawne is supposed to be a guy that continuously just fucks with Barry Allen in every conceivable way, but it's just I don't know, man. We got Flashpoint, and that's what that was. And I feel like he shows up every year in some major storyline to basically just poke at Barry. And I'm like, not even the Joker shows up this much for Batman.
He is Barry's best villain. That's the problem. He's the most developed. Because more of the Flash villains that are developed are Wally's villains.
Then maybe there's a fundamental problem at DC right now where they want these characters to be I don't know, try and glom onto Barry. But I think the reason why Eobard is such a big villain is because that's the only villain that they keep on using, or some variation of a new dark speeder.
Well, currently I think he's dead. Eobard, Iris killed him.
Yeah, Iris shot him in the head in the future at the Flash Museum.
Yeah, which is actually a really awesome book. So yeah, well, currently all the speedsters
I thought that's what you were saying, that he shows up in Heroes in Crisis.
Oh no,
no. I was talking about Flashpoint.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was talking about an older book, the prelude to Flashpoint.
Yeah,
he's not involved in Heroes in Crisis as of yet. But yeah, he's currently dead in the current continuity.
All right, never mind. I misunderstood that.
It's fine.
All right, so John, you want to hit us with what you've been reading that you want to talk about?
I read a book called Meet the Scrolls, which is really fun. It's written by Robbie Thomas, who wrote Silk and he has like I was looking it up. He's got like a Star Wars book he's currently writing called like Imperial Cadet. I'm not really Spider-Man, but like he's doing a little bit of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. He's done some stuff with like the Spider-Man universe. He wrote like Doctor Strange and the Sorcerer Supreme, which was like a really excellent miniseries from about a year or two ago. But so Meet the Skrulls is like a 5-issue mini that basically is the Vision, but what if they were Skrulls? So it's like this family of Skrulls that live in suburbia. They're all working their way within the minutia of like something to basically infiltrate. Like the father works for Tony Stark in his R&D department. The mother works for some congressman that is, getting dirt on other people. The daughter is working her way within social circles within school to, I don't know, man, like infiltrate the school system. And the last daughter is this girl who was born on Earth, like was not raised on the Skrull homeworld. So like, Earth is like kind of like her home. And it's like her not like kind of like she's shy. She's doesn't really want to be evil like the rest of the Skrulls, which is like kind of funny because they're like, it's like dastardly villains at the dinner table, and she's just like, I just want to like hang out on Earth. And the book is like kind of fun. There is like a guy who is hunting Skrulls, and you're not really sure who he is. But the mother and the father Skrull know that like the Skrull family that they were like in contact with recently died, so they know that something's happening. And it's like a really kind of fun book.
It sounds a lot like Runaways a little bit.
I mean,
like in that the parents are like villains, kind of.
But like they're all villains except for the girl. Like they're all Skrull.
Yeah. I do wonder. I would love if the guy hunting them was it 3D Man?
Possibly he's all covered up. The other thing about it is that there was like gender tension within the book too, in that the mother Skrull is higher up on the totem pole, but the father Skrull is getting like all the information because he's friends with the guy that he's getting the information from. So there's like some gender politics kind of going on in the book too. But like the art's like super great. It's drawn by Nico Hentron, who also drew Pride of Baghdad. I also want to say he drew some of Miss Marvel like early on also. So I think Meet the Skrulls is like really good. And when everyone else here sees Captain Marvel, I think it would be kind of funny to come back to this book because I'll probably talk about issue 2, but talk about within the context of
that's immediately what I was thinking about
compared to like how the Skrulls are presented within the movie.
All right, that's awesome because that's definitely a book that like you've talked about and I've seen that's like super interesting.
It's literally like a 5-issue series that's coming out at a time where there's a bunch of like Marvel's just flooding the book with the comic shops with books right now, and it's like a book that will just totally get lost in the shuffle. Yeah. And I think it's cool. I don't know if it'll find an audience, but hopefully it does.
The only reason I brought up 3D Man is because during Secret Invasion, he was part of like a team called like the Skrull. What was it? Skrull
Kill Crew.
Kill Crew, yeah. And yeah, he gained like the power where he could like see like
3D goggles.
Yeah, and then they ended up breaking and then like kind of absorbed into him, so he can actually just like from now on. And they kind of dropped that character when I remember and like haven't used him in anything else. So
yeah, they kind of dropped him because.
Well, that storyline ended, and it's like, all right,
yeah, pretty much
gonna continue hunting Skrulls, but like it'd be interesting to like have him brought back like this because I believe he kind of got left with the ability to see through all kind of shapeshifting, which is kind of an interesting power. All right, is there any other books anyone else want to talk about, or do you want to jump into our?
I could quickly talk about what I.
There's one more book I wanted to talk about.
Oh, go nuts! What you read?
So I read Giant Days number 48. This has been like one of my favorite comics over the last couple of years. This issue was kind of cool because this issue was drawn and written by John Allison, who's written the entire series. But every once in a while he'll do his own art for the book. And for people who don't know about Giant Days, It's about three women going to college, and it's just like their kind of continuing adventures. And so this book is basically about Susan, who is like the chain smoking kind of tough girl of the three, going back home, finding out that her boyfriend's brother is going to be marrying this girl that she just hates, like absolutely hates, and like hates the family, hates her, hates everyone. And her two friends, Esther and oh my god, I'm forgetting like third girl's name at the moment, but like the third girl's like super quiet. Esther's like the goth girl, and they're like accompanying her to the wedding and making sure everything like kind of happens all right. But it's like a really fun comedy of errors kind of like story where everything kind of like works out. And I think that book is like super fun. It's always like on sale with a Humble Bundle like every 2 months. I assume there's also a sale for it on Comixology like every once in a while. But like I think Giant Days is like the best slice of life comic coming out of the United States currently. It's super fun. The art's like a real joy. The early parts of the series were drawn by Lisa Tremaine, who I think she only drew like the first 6 or 12 issues, but now she is a storyboardist at Disney now. So like I think that book is a real gem, and I say get price today.
Sounds good. I'll check out Giant Days. I'm looking for some slice of life stuff. Yeah, quickly, I read some more JoJo. Everybody should go read JoJo Part 7. It's buck wild, and every single chapter seems to kind of one-up the last chapter. And how can I outthink this ridiculous situation? I can't even say what it is because I don't want to spoil how fucking weird and how random the solutions are. I would say Araki's kind of like a psychotic genius, and he just needs to keep doing exactly what he's doing. I also read the Batman Court of the Owls saga, and I think I'm addicted to Greg Capullo's kind of weird art. I don't know how to describe it other than just like something out of the Golden Age, but with much finer control.
Yeah, he cut his chops drawing Spawn for a long time, too.
You can see that. He's really good with capes.
Yeah.
They always seem to flow very well.
If you really dig him, it's really old, but he did Fat Man on Batman like real early on.
Oh, really?
It was really interesting because he talked about how he was pissed at Snyder for a little bit because he wanted a scene where like the Batmobile like kind of jumps.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, awesome. Now I have to figure out how to draw that dumb shit. And like, and he talks about like having to like sit down and figure out how to like make that drawing like work and like creating all the springs. It's like really interesting to like dive into like an artist's head and like the technical aspect of like having to like design kind of, especially like mechanical objects to like actually where they like is like, oh, that's believable enough to like pass.
Yeah, no, totally.
There's a similar one with Scott Snyder where they're talking about, I forgot which, I think it was Batman issue number 5, the one where everything is upside down, and like it was just like a page where everything is upside down. You have to read. You have to turn the book upside down.
Oh,
and
one of those.
Issue 11.
Yeah, that one. Capullo thought that he screwed up, and they were both freaking out.
Oh, yeah, no. I think I know what you're talking about. I was reading that on my phone, and the text started to shift, and I thought it was my app fucking up, so I kept closing it and reopening it. And it would be the same way. So I just kept going through that cycle.
Yeah. Plus, I know Capullo's like a really cool... He's like a real blue-collar... I think he's from like Long Island, like New York guy. I think they're both from New York, but he's like Long Island, and Snyder's like Manhattan-born growing up, so... They're interesting, like, guys to listen to.
Yeah, they got that East Coast kind of style to them. Okay, I dig that.
And Greg Capullo is a legitimate badass.
Okay, I can see that from his art. It's pretty badass art. It has to come from somewhere, you know? I also read Doom Patrol Volumes 1 and 2, the Gerard Way run, and it is brilliantly frustrating. I really enjoyed it, and I will continue to really enjoy it. It's just really weird and existential and surreal. And
yeah, it's like a book you have to read like a couple times.
Yeah, no, I definitely reread the first one after I finished the first 2 volumes, just because I wanted to like kind of pick up what they were putting down so early.
I remember reading a couple of those issues, and isn't what's his name like Jack the Street? Isn't he like big in that book?
you're
Oh,
thinking
yeah,
of Danny.
Danny Street, right?
Yeah, now
Yeah.
he's Danny Land, and he's an ambulance.
Oh, that's
and
that's
a
right.
planet.
Well, yeah. So he's now in the ambulance, and the ambulance is part of Danny Land.
Yes, it's like a pocket dimension. It's
Yeah.
a
And,
TARDIS for Alan.
And he's like somehow connected to like the new character for the book, who's like the main character, who's Cassie
It's
Breen.
Casey
I was gonna say
Brink,
it's a girl. I remember when that first came out, reading, be like, I don't have the
nicknamed-
brain power for this right now.
Yeah, nicknamed Space Case.
Rad name, super rad name. Everybody in this is rad.
Yeah, like they have like a couple like really cool new characters. Like Carrie Nunn is really cool.
Yes.
And-
Takes time to pay off, though.
But they also have like, you know, really cool returning characters like Robot Man shows up, and
He's integral. Robot Man and Negative Man. Mr. Negative.
Man. Yeah.
Or-
Isn't there
yeah, whatever his name is.
isn't there like a giant muscly guy?
Yeah, Muscle Man.
Yeah, you're thinking of Flex Mentallo,
Flex
the man of
Mentallo.
the man of muscle mystery.
Yeah, hero of the beach.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I think he is a Grant Morrison character.
Oh, that
he,
sounds like one.
he is rad. He has a really choice moment in Milk Wars.
I haven't read Milk Wars. I couldn't
that's
find
another.
volume 3. That's
That was
what
another
it's
book
going
that I was
into.
just like, I don't have the brain power for this at this moment. I'll have to come back to it.
Dude, he's
Milk
afraid of bicycles. They go into why he's afraid of it, and it's so good.
Yeah, Milk Wars is the answer when people say there's like a lot of really bad events in comics. I'm like, Milk Wars, it's
Milk
great.
Wars is wild. Just like the lead up, everything leading into that is fucking insane. I just love. I left it at my friend's house because he seemed interested in it, and I just left the 2 volumes I got there. So he's gonna read those. But I loved every second of those books. It was a cartoonish nightmare fueled by happiness and the underlying goal that friendship is something you should treasure forever. And I will.
Awesome.
Yeah, and that's it. That's all I've read this week, and then I'm picking up some other books this week.
Yep. We'll get to what we're picking up this week at the end. Why don't we jump into our discussion topic?
Mm-hmm.
So for this week, the best and worst costume redesigns. For me, it was actually interesting, like when we were talking on the chat, John, like you said you couldn't find like bad ones. Like I couldn't find good ones. There's like so many horrible ones over the years, especially in the 90s.
Yeah.
That's like a
I
bad decade for comics.
Yeah, that's where I
think-
found the couple that I kind of use.
I think also, like for me, like I remember the good costume designs more than I do the bad ones.
Yeah, I guess the good ones stand out.
Unless they're just like egregiously bad.
Yeah, well, I feel like we could spend a whole day talking about just like egregiously bad female character costumes.
Oh yeah.
Because they're like one of the main ones I kept pulling up, which I guess I'll start with the first one, is that Invisible Woman boob window with the 4.
Yeah, you know, that comic is really bad. Or that costume is really bad. And this is coming from someone who, like, it's like a costume I wouldn't defend to the death, but it's a costume I think is a pretty good costume for the character, is Power Girl.
with her
costume,
boob window? Yeah.
but like, Sue Storm, like, costume in that comic is super bad.
Well, the Power Girl one is like, she's like fully covered, like it's entire like bodysuit, but the random boob window. This is like that weird like 80s like leotard kind of thong thing going on. Because like she has these high boots and like, yeah. And plus she's never dressed like that. And this is post her having Franklin.
Yes. Okay. She has. Because I was going to say, it's really funny that these lists keep on bringing up the boob window when, like, she's also had the Malice costume, which is also terrible.
Yeah, in the article I'm looking at, yeah. Because that's part of the same story, I think.
Yeah. Do you know how Reed Richards tries to quit, like, her from being Malice? Because she's, like, mind-controlled?
No, what does he do?
He slaps her in the face.
Oh, man. Pulled one out of Hank Pym's book.
Yeah, Reed Richards is a bastard, and, like, there's, like, kind of a reason why, like, I mean, Fantastic Four is, like, very well remembered because, you know, its history with Marvel and Jack Kirby and all that stuff. Dude, there's a kind of a reason why Fantastic Four is, like, not as heralded as it should. And it's because of shit like that.
Well, it's that whole weird, like, 70s, 80s thing that, like, happened, where, like, everything got, like, I don't even know, like, there's, like, that weird era in comics. Because like there was like a point when she left him for Namor for a while, but yeah. But I think that's like one of the most egregious costume changes that they've ever done. I guess it had like story plot elements, but it's still like horrendous.
The story plot, but here's the thing: there's story plot elements for it because some dude wrote that story.
Yes, exactly.
Can I name my favorite character design?
Sure.
Grifter.
Oh, with just like the cotton mask.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a
Actually a lot of the Wildstorm characters.
Oh yeah, they're like real. I do like his. He was like on a lot of bad costume lists, but like I don't mind him.
Like him and a lot of the Stormwatch characters.
Yeah, like yeah, Apollo's had some goofy stuff over the years, but most of the time he's pretty fine.
I mean, Midnighter.
Oh well, Midnighter's basically like S&M Batman.
The Midnighter costume is really good.
No, I love the Midnighter costume, but he's basically Batman with like extra like spiky things and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love those characters. I would love for them to do some more stuff with them. All right, do we want to go like good and bad, like mix it up? John or Connor, did you have one that like a redesign that you loved or hated?
Go please.
One that I really liked, Mohawk Storm.
Oh yeah, not like the 80s punk goth Storm.
Yeah, where Storm like loses her powers and she goes through her punk phase and joins the takes over the Morlocks, and yeah, it's like the coolest Storm design.
Yeah, well, it's like probably one of the most famous, like amazing redesigns. The fact that they brought it, didn't they bring it into one of the movies recently? I think it was in Apocalypse. She had the mohawk.
She did have the mohawk in Apocalypse.
Yeah.
All I remember about her in that movie is that she is in league with the villains, kills a bunch of people, and then like realizes that she's the bad guy, and then joins the X-Men. And I'm like, you murdered a ton of people.
All right, Connor, what was yours?
So I'm not. This was kind of a hard question for me because I haven't been reading guys, so I don't really have too much experience with characters getting like major redesigns and me having a problem with it, unless I'm like reading volumes of something that take place over the course of years. I'd say like in general my favorite redesigns have been kind of what Marvel is moving towards, by making characters a little bit more practical and less kind of I'm not a huge fan of the skin tight suits, and that's kind of my biggest problem with DC, is everybody's in a skin tight suit. So I like Jock's kind of bulkier Batman suits, stuff like that. It just makes much more sense for a hero instead of someone just like Superman wearing the tightest available things and fighting someone. It's always just kind of been a bit goofy for me.
Yeah, DC tried to kind of do that with the New 52, which is probably on everybody's like worst redesigns. Like they try to make them more armory,
and that's kind of what I dug. I think it's just kind of like a generational thing. Like personally, I dig the New 52 look of the heroes, and like the Flash and the way they've approached Superman. And
all those neon lions are really dumb.
I
they're
think
real dumb.
There's a couple characters that get away with, like, I think because of Batman, like this stuff doesn't really change much of his costume, the lines or whatever. Yeah. Superman's the one that got like the real big redesign with the removing of the red underwear, and his stuff became more armory. Flash's became more armory.
Like Flash has the perfect costume. It's like it's like a costume that unless you're gonna like completely redesign it, like you already have like your perfect version of that costume.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't see like why putting neon lines on that costume makes it like edgy.
Yeah, there are a couple other characters that I'm like thinking of like in New 52 that had okay costume redesigns, like. Most of them are like very, very simple. Like I feel like if I remember correctly, Aquaman's was just like a slight change, and like Wonder Woman's wasn't too much different at the time. Which she is a character that has had some horrific costumes.
Yeah,
she's on my list. I guess so. That Connor would.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, I was gonna say like so. I can't really remember where we started. Was that like your good one?
Yeah, I just kind of said my good ones, but I have two that I thought were bad. One, I tried to keep it bad. This one, I might get a little debate from John, but I think in the JoJo anime, one of the new characters, Panakota Fugo, is one of the worst dressed characters on planet Earth.
You mean the kid that's dressed like Swiss cheese?
Yes, Swiss cheese
Swiss
boy.
cheese Riddler. I was going to say Swiss cheese Riddler.
But don't worry for poor cheese boy.
Do not worry for cheese boy. He is warm inside. He's a great character and everything, but I just cannot get into the design of this character.
Yeah, his costume has a bunch of holes on it.
It's real dumb, and this is like right next to his other characters who have like. You want to talk about cleavage window? Look at like in the show. Look at like Bruno Buccaretti or Giorno. Like those characters have like the cleavage window, but it looks more tasteful. Oh, Bruno's
good.
I just started watching the show because of you guys, and I'm
so glad.
Season 1.
Oh, I'm so glad once you get past battle tendencies. Ooh,
yes.
It gets lightning fast.
Okay,
good. And I think Battle Tendencies is good. I just wish there wasn't a cyborg Nazi in that show who's a good guy.
I haven't gotten to that. I'm just close to that part right now. The first part is the part that I was like, that was real slow.
Yeah.
Oh, like when with Jonathan?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like get to the point where like Dio
I'm in the
kisses
second.
the girl? Well, no, when Dio kisses the girl and he's like, "You thought Jonathan would have taken your first kiss, but it was I, Dio." And then did you see that moment? You're like, "Oh, those are where the memes are from."
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, also, Dio is the biggest monster on the planet. In the first episode, he kills a dog.
Yeah, Dio kills a dog.
I was real upset about that.
That's okay. Araki has gone on a point because he does it throughout the series. I'm sorry to spoil that, but he will kill dogs multiple times.
Dio, it's not just dogs.
Animals, actually.
Yeah, a lot of animals die in that series.
There is one time, and I won't spoil it, there is one time coming up very soon for you, Lou, where an animal will be saved, and it will be a great moment, and then buckle up, because it's not good after that.
also, like, the other moment in Battle Tendencies that I think is, like, kind of, like, really suspect is that Joseph Joestar has a friend who is black, and his name is Smokey.
Yeah. It's Smokey, yeah.
It is supposed to be like was it 1938? So like,
yeah.
And they kind of adopt him though, because they show him later on, and he's grown up and kind of hanging with the grandma.
Yeah.
So it's not too bad.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. So John, did you have? So you had. I'm trying to see if we can go like good, bad for everybody. So yours was good before. What was a bad? Redesign.
Captain America's Nomad costume.
Oh, is that when he has the cape?
Yeah, and the huge V-neck.
Oh god, can you post a picture for Connor to see this, because this is legendary, like a legendary bad design.
Oh yeah,
it's an interesting story because they basically did that story in the movies, but like this design is his yellow hair flowing.
And like
are you kidding me?
And
that
was Captain America. And the V-neck goes straight down to
all
his dick.
the way down. Dude, it goes all the way down.
Oh man.
Yikes.
Which is funny because this was around when what's his name took over as Cap too, right? US Agent.
John Walker, that dickhead.
But US Agent is one of the awesomest like character design Cap costumes. Like I love that dark blue.
Yeah.
All right, Al, do you have I think you said good. Do you have a bad design? Like redesign?
Oh, wait, what? I was watching some level.
Alan.
No, I'm watching. I was watching.
Alan.
Do you have a bad
I've been
character
watching
redesign?
lately, and I really want to just keep watching.
Yeah, well, you could even use one of those. You could say the Superman leather jacket that they did in Smallville. It's like one of the worst designs.
Which one? The Columbine jacket?
Oh, I was talking about the red leather one.
I like that one, actually.
I'm trying to think who had a bad design in that.
Blue Beetle.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's just because they didn't have money.
They gave Booster Gold a costume.
Yeah, I forgot that he's even... Oh, yeah. All right, so let's come back around to you. I will give a good redesign, and then when we come back, you need to give us two, Alan.
Okay.
Stop watching Smallville. So mine is actually connecting to the movies. The redesign for the Guardians of the Galaxy that basically gave us the look that we have currently, because they looked really goddamn dumb. So Star-Lord and Drax specifically before... This is basically when they changed their looks going into Annihilation. And especially Drax was like this giant, basically Hulk ripoff with a WWE belt.
Sweet.
And then he basically gets killed and is reborn into the Drax that we know and love.
Good.
And
Yeah,
it's-
I don't like that one.
I actually like really kind of miss like the old helmet for
Star-Lord?
For Star-Lord, the one on the right.
Yeah,
the-
okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's
like,
a cool helmet. That was when he was
Yeah.
part of the Nova Corps, right?
No.
Oh, that was during Annihilation. He was his own, but he was the leader of the like against the Annihilation stuff.
Okay,
But yeah,
cool.
the Night Owl helmet does not work for him.
Yeah, no, I like this design. This is also when this is when that team gets formed. It's where it's Star-Lord, Gamora, Drax, Rocket, Groot. Like this is when that team gets formed in the comics that we see the literal like exact representation in the movies. And all those redesigns were awesome. And that entire story is awesome. It's like one of my favorite, like it is pure space opera, Annihilation and Annihilation Conquest. So that was like one of the best redesigns I've ever seen. So I'll go twice here. One of the worst, and I think it's like super famous, is the electric blue Superman.
Yeah, I don't even think that costume's that bad.
It's just that it's Superman, and just like the entire concept around the costume redesign, the power redesign. Like
It
if
looks
they,
like it came right out of the Ultimate Universe.
yeah, if they had like just made another character that just wore the S and did that, like it'd be fine. It's just that it's still supposed to be Kal-El. And then they made the red version, and there was like two of him, like the exact same story that they did in the past. It was just like it stuck around for what, like 6 months, and basically people were like mad about it, and then they got rid of it. And these are the powers because he was locked in like a dungeon or something, like underground, and so his body stopped absorbing ultraviolet light and started absorbing like electromagnetic stuff, and he couldn't fly anymore, and he could like teleport through electricity. He kind of became Livewire. But like
Yeah,
it was like in the 90s, back when like Morrison was writing Justice League and stuff like that. He didn't do this, but I don't know. The electric blue and electric red are just like, they just like scream that like weird 90s. We have to like do something new and different with characters because they're too boring.
Yeah, I mean, like I think it's like not a bad costume design. It's like not a great Superman design, but it's like not. It's like, you know, you said it. It's like if you put it on someone else, like not a bad costume.
No, and it looks fine. Like in action, it's just like there was just like a bunch of goofy stuff that they did with it, and like I don't know. Like again, yeah, if it wasn't Superman, it would look fine. But it was the fact that it's Superman that it's like it's so goofy. Like here's like the red and blue when they like were split into two separate characters, which they did in the past too. It was just really not fun. All right, Alan.
Yes.
Did you come up with two costumes and stop watching Smallville?
Yes.
To which one?
Wait, what?
Never mind.
What are your picks?
They're both New 52 because one I just laughed at when I looked at it when it first happened. The other one was one I really hated for quite a while.
We'll pop those pics in, boy.
Okay, the first is the obvious.
Okay.
Lobo.
Okay, what did he look like in 52?
I do not think the new Lobo design is that bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Like, Bishojo Lobo, like, I mean, I'm also not like a Lobo guy, so...
I don't really care about the big muscle men of the past, so... I mean, I don't mind the skinnier looking Lobo.
I think it was a little dumb that they were like, this is actually the real Lobo, and the Lobo you've known all along is actually an impostor. But
Okay, that's pretty dumb. I didn't know that's how he became.
But I think like on paper, like this is like pretty boy Lobo is like not inherently bad.
We need more thoughty super.
And the second one is, and again, New 52, only because
I threatened to like it.
No, there's nothing like. It's the New 52 redesign of Green Arrow.
Oh, that was awful.
Because it was...
Ooh, yeah, that's real not good. I mean, Green Arrow's like Batman. You could have just like kept him in the hood, not given him those weird glasses.
I think in Jim Lee's mind when he was... Because apparently he redesigned each key character for each book.
Okay.
He must have been thinking, oh, well, he either was thinking, let's go back to his first appearances, or, hey, people still like Smallville, because that book and that version of Oliver Queen felt like it was Justin Hartley Oliver Queen.
Oh yeah, he had the darts, and he had like an arrow gun. It wasn't even like a crossbow; it was like a gun.
Gun.
Yeah, I feel like there's so much to talk about bad in New 52 as well. So we'll get back to that because I actually have like two good ones from New 52.
I was gonna say I have a rundown of bad costumes.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm not gonna even put them in the chat because I have a bunch of them. I'm just gonna name off the top of my head.
Mhm.
The Harley Quinn New 52 design is
Oof.
awful with the
Oof.
hot pants and like
Ooh.
Yeah.
and the bustier.
I
it
have that
sucks.
picture. I had it lined up.
The Zatanna New 52 costume is really bad. The Power Girl costume is like trying to fix the problem of the boob window, but
Yeah.
at the same time they gave her like a nipple print, and it's like
Ooh.
not good.
Yeah.
Why?
It's yeah. They tried to fix an issue, but it's like worse. And they dropped it after a little while.
They
Like,
did.
okay. Yeah.
The Superboy costume sucks because for the same reason.
I don't mind the Superboy one as much. I don't like the character, but I don't mind the design of the costume.
Yeah,
Like
that Superboy was on my list.
Yeah, it reminds me of Batman Beyond in many ways. But what other ones did you have bad? Because there's a couple that I think are good in New 52. Like, I liked the Supergirl redesign.
Totally great.
I liked Canary and Poison Ivy.
I hated them. Like,
Really?
I think Black Canaries. I think Poison Ivy's costume is like fine. It's like I don't think as good as it was previously, but you know, it's like it's fine. But I think Black Canary costume is just really bad. Like,
It's
there's
too
like
military for you.
it's just too generic. Like there's like nothing inherently wrong with like the jacket and the leggings and you know what, like a really good so they had a Annie Wu Black Canary series that happened a couple years later, and they kind of did a redesign of that costume.
Oh, you're
But,
talking about the DCU one?
Yeah. And it feels like, oh, it's like classic Black Canary while also feeling like a newer version of it. Yeah, this book is rad.
Oh, okay.
Not enough people read it. She's super cool, that book.
Yeah,
she's
isn't she in a band in that book?
Yeah, she's in a band. I believe they're called the Canaries or something like that.
Are they called the Canaries or the Sirens?
Or this, oh god, I have the poster for this book somewhere.
Because
I
they
remember-
still, in current continuity, she's still in that band. Like, she's a rock star.
I remember that series spun out of the Batgirl Burnside book.
Yep.
Yeah,
Which-
and that's why she's still the current. That's like the current continuity for her.
Yeah, the Starfire books or the Starfire costume sucks. Big time.
It's barely a costume. There's barely any cloth.
But you brought out the Supergirl costume. I like it. I know people hated the uncovered knees, but I think it's kind of a cool look, and her cape is really cool.
I just was gonna say I like the way that was one of the things of like both her and Superman. I like the cape coming up over the shoulders like that. Like, it makes more sense than just coming kind of like almost like off the back of the shoulders. Like, it makes more sense to me.
The Livewire New 52 costume is really good, or not New 52, but like the Batgirl Burnside, which is also a great costume. But like all the character redesigns in that book that ended up showing up were really fun, including Livewires.
Yeah, I like the redesign of that Batgirl. I'm just not necessarily a big fan of that book because it wasn't for me. Like, I really liked her kind of classic look with the black and gold that Simone was using in her book. So, but like, I do appreciate the difference and the youth looking of the Batgirl Burnside.
Yeah, because you know what, and a great costume, the current Batgirl costume.
Yeah, it's weird.
Hey, it's completely obvious, like, why they changed her costume was so they could draw her fucking tits hanging out in Heroes in Crisis, but, whatever.
Yeah, that's, like, a theme for, like, women costumes. It's, like, it's really bad. I'm trying to think. Connor.
And for people who are like, well, I mean, what do you mean? Like, a female character can own her own sexuality? Like, look, I work for a company that makes pornography. Like, I'm not like super like frigid when it comes to like female sexuality within comics. But it's like you changed her costume, and the first big instance of her new costume is having her lift up her costume to show her fucking bullet wounds. Like, come on.
It's a little exploitative by the sounds of things.
Yeah. Connor, did you have, I don't even know where we're at. I guess just whatever you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, no, the only other thing I could find that I was partially aware of, mostly because of Alan complaining, was, where is he? Jeez, let me grab the link. This boy right here. this '90s ass fucking Superboy. I just
Oh,
Dude,
I
yeah,
love
that
that
costume
look.
is great.
That's the one that they just brought back.
Oh, is that dude,
That's
it
the
was
Young
saying-
Justice one. Yeah.
Oh, okay, wow. It was saying '90s in this, so I was.
Yeah,
Well,
no. He
yeah.
is the '90s Superboy, but they just
Okay.
brought that character back with that look.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because there's like what I think at this point like 5 Superboys.
Oh my god.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
that's
my
the
God.
Metropolis, but I mean, the Metropolis kid is also Connor.
Yes. Well, he's the like original kind of clone Superboy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then there's the New 52 one is Con L, and then he's just gone forever. And then there's
John
Lois
Kent.
and Clark's son, John Kent, and he just
Who-
wears like a little Superman costume.
Yeah.
I guess it's like more this design then.
Yeah, we could spend a whole episode specifically on just like Superman redesigns that are terrible.
Yeah, no, I just can't jive with.
Yeah,
Well, at least in this the photo of the Superman, just those incredibly tight red pants. I've just
Yeah,
never been into the
I-
tights, man.
I think he's in like jeans now.
Okay, jeans
So-
I can jive with.
But like
a
that
little
first image, he looks awesome, man. Like the second one is and this is also if you watch like Reign of Superman, this is like the Superboy that's in that.
bit. Okay,
Because this is the Superboy that's half he's a combination clone of Clark and Lex.
okay.
So he gets all his like douchiness as Lex from Lex.
As from Lex, okay.
Yeah, but he's also supposed to be smarter than Clark. Did anybody have any other ones they want to talk about? I have like 3 more bad ones.
I have nothing but good costumes on now.
Okay. So, Alan, did you have any more? Or are you continuing to watch Smallville?
No, I don't have any more.
All right. So why don't we go back and forth, John, and just like listen to their
Good one.
You
Jane
post
Foster
pic-
Thor. It's like Jane Foster's Thor costume is rad. Like it's super
Oh yeah, that costume's awesome.
Yeah, I want to say that's not even like a redesign though, because it's
that's
a whole
like
new
a
character.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
I think though it's like
It is
I mean,
rad. It's
it's
a
a-
throwback to like the old school Thor in many ways.
I mean whoever is worthy enough to hold the hammer of Thor, and she is technically Thor. It's a new Thor
Yeah.
costume.
So I will give your Thor costume with another Thor costume, the glam metal Thor from the '90s.
It's like really funny because like this open face thing is
Oh, that
like,
was
a
the
big,
that was a '90s
It's like-
motif.
yeah, because that's also in the Superman blue costume.
Yeah, it's the Gambit Shatterstar.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
that look.
man.
That's
That's
what
like
it is.
it's like not a bad look for certain characters, but it's just like not everyone needs to have it. Like a coat on 1 or 2 characters is not bad, but when everyone's wearing coats,
Well, to go with that, it's like when everybody armors up and wears like crazy ass armor. Like a lot of the stuff had Daredevil's armor costume. I don't mind his armor costume, but this costume is like bonkers bad.
there was like a couple lists that also had that costume, and then had Clint Barton's Goliath costume. And
he is on my list of like bad costumes, but it's like he has a ton of bad costumes.
But I think Clint Barton's Goliath costume is like actually like kind of fun.
Oh yeah, it's not. He has way worse costumes.
Like it's still like the open midriff, and like this like the belt that like Hyperion had a belt, and like we went to earlier with like Drax having a belt. This heavy belts was just a thing. But like the pirate boots, the color scheme, the open hair on the top, like I don't know, man. Like it's bad, but I think it's like a good bad.
Yeah, let me try to find.
The Thor one. The Thor one's too busy.
Oh, absolutely. Oh my god, I can't. This like image will not let me copy it for some reason. I might have to like do a link.
I mean, like another costume I thought was like really cool design is the Jean Grey Phoenix costume.
Oh yeah, the Jean Grey Phoenix costume is awesome.
Yeah, like the classic Jean costume is like whatever, and then you get the Phoenix costume. And
Well,
it's great.
the Marvel Girl costume is the most generic thing ever.
Yeah,
Like it's there, like that, but that's all that original X-Men costume is. It is super bland for the time, like costuming.
Hey Lou, that link you put up,
Yeah.
it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I'm trying to like screenshot what I'm looking at.
Cool.
'cause-
but then like Jean Grey also gets that '90s X-Men costume. That's also
Oh,
like,
with
super
the
rad.
face thing from like the
Yeah.
cartoon.
Yeah.
But it's that same like it's not a cowl, it's like a face.
It's a face sock.
It's a face sock because it goes like up the back of the head and stuff like that. So it's like almost a cowl, but there's no mask. It's just like covering your cheeks. Let me find one of the other ones. I personally don't like this. This is on a lot of people's like good list. I hated this design for the X-Men.
Oh wow, you can buy a statue of that Clint Barton Goliath costume.
I hated the actual when Grant Morrison was writing X-Men, that like weird jacket thing that they were going like kind of like the movies.
Dude,
Oh,
I
thought
hate the Cyclops one. I think the others are.
It's just like it's too many X's everywhere. Like, all right, I get it.
I don't know, man. I like Grant Morrison X-Men, and I think his costumes are like pretty good for the time.
Yeah,
like, they're a better version of the movie costumes.
Yeah, it's on everybody's like best thing, but like that's the thing. I don't like those movie costumes so much. I didn't like that they were doing the movie costumes.
Mm-hmm. And I think Emma looks great.
Oh well, because she just has to be in like a white outfit with like a coat.
But I mean, like opposed to like.
Oh, when she's in like
Emma.
when she was like the White Queen.
Yeah.
Let me see. Oh, there's some other like really horrible ones. Here's another horrible Wolverine. This is when he was Bone Claws after they got ripped out.
Yeah, I'm listening to Jay and Miles right now, and they just got the bone claws. Like they just did Fatal Attractions. So they'll probably be talking about that costume. Oh, this is Age of Apocalypse. Right?
No. This is when he got his. No, there's the Age of Apocalypse when he's.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
This is not. This is when he has the bone claws and he's like all feral in the woods.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
It's so bad. One of the other really bad ones in the past that's in like every list is the Giant M Magneto.
What?
Yeah, it's like not bad. It's bad, but it's like.
Oh yeah. I wonder what that M stands for.
It's not Mutant Magneto.
Let me see. I'm still trying to get this like Hawkeye thing. And then there's the I think it's like 80s like Wonder Woman costume. Yeah.
The jacket's like not bad.
The jacket's not bad. It's just like the weird.
I think that was like also my thing where like people were like, oh, like this is a really bad costume. I'm like, well, this is not a bad aspect of the costume. The rest of it is kind of bad. Agent Venom is a good costume.
Yes. Well, I think most of the Venom redesigns, I don't think there's a bad. Like I like all of them for the most part.
Yeah. Like Archangel is a great redesign.
Yes, I love Archangel. Trying to think what else is in like that bad 90s era stuff, because that's what a lot of it is. A lot of it is
Alan said it earlier, but I don't know if he actually said it. Anything Rob Liefeld did.
Oh yeah, well that's like that bad 90s stuff.
I don't know.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know, man.
Flashpoint.
Cable's pretty cool.
Yeah, but he is like the awesome 90s. So that's Flashpoint Zatanna, where they're not even hip huggers. They're just.
What the fuck is this?
Whoa.
How have I never seen this?
Whoa.
What was this?
This is Flashpoint Zatanna.
What the fuck?
She's basically, her pants are basically like,
They don't exist. She's just wearing.
They're wearing boots and a thong.
Yeah.
She's wearing a bathing suit with super low riding jeans. And when I say super low riding,
like,
I mean they go
low as they go.
They go like to basically like where the hips are like underneath the vag. Like that's where the part starts. Like that's where they start. Like
that's so bad. Oh man.
And then
this went through a character design, coloring, editing, printing, and was on store shelves. Who thought this is the worst costume I've seen so far. I'm actually very angry about this.
Yeah, it is like in a weird
the episode where John got mad.
It isn't like a weird off-world thing, but yeah. Because like I see, like I've been looking like, oh, people talk about like the black suit Superman with like the mullet. I'm like, I don't mind the mullet Superman and the black suit. Like it was kind of a big aspect of the story. And like people put on, which is actually one of my favorite costumes, the Batman, either they say like Earth X or Zur-En Ra, which Morrison brought back at one point. But look at all of those Hawkeye costumes. They're the original one is fine, but like the one where he's wearing like a skirt and like he's like barely wearing any clothes at all.
I was gonna say the bottom left one.
Is
really
not bad.
The worst.
The bottom left one is that weird like 90s era where he's wearing like one of those weird face things. But that top right one is horrid.
That top right one, he is a muscle man.
Yeah, I know that like some people do not like Hawkeye with like the shirt and the pants, but it's like I don't know, man.
Oh, I actually like the current design. He looks cool. Like the simple, like that's one of the things. And all these costumes are so goddamn busy. Like the bottom right one is like that weird like late 90s, early 2000s, like way too teched out.
Yeah.
And again, he has that weird face thing that we were talking about in that bottom right one, where he has like the face condom. Oh yeah, that Spider-Woman redesign you just added here is probably one of the best ever.
Yeah, the Javier Rodriguez Spider-Woman covers or costume is really good.
Yes, very good.
Like, if again, like I know I've said this before on the show, but Dennis Hopeless's Javier Rodriguez Spider-Woman book is one of the most underrated books of the last 5 years, and it's going to be like one of those books that people like revisit and are like, this is a gem. Why weren't people reading it? Like literally, like there are pages in that book where there's like action happening that's just phenomenal. And it's just like, I was reading it and it was blowing my mind. And I was like, why is people reading this book? It was because like people like looked at a book with a pregnant lady on there and like, oh, like, and like had some weird conniption about the book. But I like that book is rad. And the costume is super good.
Well, it's what's really awesome about it, and I would point to the same thing with the Hawkeye, is that it's simple. Like, it is minimalist at best. Like, it's the perfection of minimalist, which is like a lot of the problems, which the one I just posted, that Nightwing, is the opposite. The Disco Nightwing.
I like Disco Nightwing.
Disco Nightwing is ridiculous. It's the high collar is like the worst part of it.
I was gonna say, like, okay, so like I think this costume on the left is really good, or not really good, but I think it's like kind of fun for the time. I think the costume on the right is just I don't know, man. I'm not liking this version on the right.
Which is the same. It's basically the same costume. It's it's slightly different, but they're in the same ballpark.
They get rid of the V-neck and they connect like the yellow checkered part, and like I don't know.
He also is rocking that like late 80s, early 90s mullet. Oh man, we could do a whole episode on the mullets of comic books. This is one that a lot of people hate and I actually love, which I was saying is that Batman, like the Zur and Ra Batman. I love this design, and it's only for like an issue in Morrison's run, and I think it's awesome. I like the idea behind it, and I love the design. I don't know why people don't like it. I like this whole story, and I like because it came from, like, again, we could do like a whole thing on horrible Batman costumes, but like he had a million horrible costumes. They're going to be on one of the covers for Detective 1000, and that 60s era, there's like the zebra Batman, the rainbow Batman, the Batman of Zur and Ra. There's like so many of them, but they were like goofy and terrible. There was a mummy Batman, but then Morrison came in and basically was like, yeah, all that stuff was like him training to like make himself for like this situation, which is definitely a book I would recommend if anybody wants to read Batman, because it's basically he builds in a personality into his own mind, and because his mind has been broken, and it's this Batman from another planet, and he makes a bat suit from garbage, and this is what he creates, and it is fucking crazy. You just posted probably one of the best redesigned costumes of a character that's had as many costumes as Batman.
Yeah, but okay, so like Darwin Cook's Catwoman is the perfect Catwoman costume. Like it's perfect. Like you don't have to change like a thing on it. Like maybe the goggles could be like a little bit better, but like everything that top photo of like Catwoman is like iconic. It's like instantly.
Yeah, I like the goggles that they did a little bit later than. I think they're a little bit better when they're not as like angular. Mm-hmm. But she's a character that's had some both horrendous costumes over the decades and some also amazing ones. Like all the ones with the capes, I'm not a fan of. Those like 70s, like, but there are the ones in the purple outfit I do like. Mm-hmm. But there are like some other ones that are terrible.
It's black, it's sleek, it's like she's a capper, and that's like what she's supposed to like. The last costume I have on this list is really like kind of like a bunch of Spider-Man costumes. It's the 2099, the Superior Spider-Man, the black suit. Like people seem to like the Iron Spider-Man suit. I'm not a fan, but you know, who am I to like ding what people like? But the Future Foundation Spider-Man costume that's like white is really good.
Oh, I love that one.
The Bagman costume is kind of funny.
It has story behind it, so.
But yeah, like Spider-Man has like a ton of like really cool alternate costumes that are pretty rad in their own way. But I really love the Superior Spider-Man outfit.
So Spider-Man has just as many bad costumes as Batman, though. This is the Catwoman. I like the goggle and like head design. I like a little bit better.
Yeah,
but it's like very similar. It's just like a little, I guess. But there are costumes in the past of hers that are horrendous. But I'm trying to think, Spider-Man. There's some really bad ones. There's some that they took from one of the cartoons that's not good. What the hell was it called? Oh God, I'm completely like lost. It's like it's like super red. Yeah, Spider-Punk is pretty cool. I like actually one of the newest designs. I like the PS4 design that they did with the white spider.
I don't like the big silver Spider-Man logo.
Oh, I like the big white spider.
I think I've talked to you guys about this. I'm not as hot on that Spider-Man game. I think it's other people are.
I'm trying, well, because they have a lot of the suits. I think a lot of the armor suits for Spider-Man are not good.
No, a lot of armor suits for for superheroes in general are not good.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was trying to look for the one Catwoman suit. This is one of the ones I like, and it's like the complete opposite. Like, I love the long hair purple costume without the cape. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, when she's like, that's when she was like super bad. Like, I don't know. That's one of the looks that like always stuck with me.
Jim Ballant. Yeah, you know what that guy's doing now?
No.
Have you ever heard of a book called Tarot of the Black Rose?
No, I have not.
So Tarot of the Black Rose is like a long-running Arrow comic about like this I don't know exactly what Tarot of the Black Rose is about, but like I'm like 90% sure it's about like this woman who fights the occult. And there's just like, it's total fucking cheesecake. It's like almost porn without being porn. But there was like a meme going around a couple years ago about this book, about a character who had a ghost in her vagina, and like
I've seen the ghost in the vagina thing.
Yeah, the guy who drew that Catwoman book is drawing this book and writing it. And this comic has been going on for like, I want to say like over a decade. This book started in 2000.
So it's been going on for almost 20 years.
There are 113 issues of Tarot of the Black Rose.
Wow.
What the fuck?
Yeah, man. Okay. I mean, like, hey, good for this guy. Good for Jim Ballant, like being able to like make like a long running comic book series.
Yeah, good on you for making a living doing that.
We actually had like a guy, like we only ordered one copy of that book, and there was just only one guy who would ever pick it up.
He had a very dedicated fan base.
He was on a government watch list too.
Yeah, for all the people who have hard time beating off on the bus already.
I mean, like, again, I make porn or like I help with a porn company, so I can't knock anyone for their porn game. It's just like Tarot of the Black Rose is such a relic of like 90s bad girl comics that's just like kind of funny because it's like seeing a time capsule.
That's true. It is like peering into the past, into what people like out of. And some people still want in comics.
I'm trying to think of a couple other ones. I did really like the new younger Loki redesign.
Yes.
Yeah. After he died.
I liked the Bucky cap design a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Winter Soldier design's really good too.
Oh yeah.
Basically an evolution of his costume.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There are like a lot of people had different Aquaman stuff. Like I'm not a fan of the like 90s long hair Aquaman.
Or the one with the hook hand?
Yeah, a lot of that 90s stuff just is not appealing to me whatsoever. Like, it's just, like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. But yeah, there's like a lot of the big name characters really haven't had a ton of, well, it's actually a lot. Like Batman and Superman have had a lot. But yeah, I think we've kind of hit it. This is a very long episode.
My list.
Yeah, I know. We're kind of petering out here. So why don't we do a quick round of plugs real quick and then head on out.
Okay, you can find me on Twitter at QuestionConnor. You can find me on Instagram at MaybeConnor. And I write whenever I'm not apparently super busy for Lost Horror Games at losthorror.com.
WordPress.com.
WordPress.com. Shit. Almost that time. I almost got it.
Hey, you heard the ghost of Alan creeping up, but
I did. You got him beat there.
I guess also real quick, if you want to also say what you'll be buying or what you're picking.
Yeah. Let me scroll up.
Yeah, do that with plugs.
Okay. Idea. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Along with that, I will also be picking up the Batman Who Laughs Grim Knight Volume 1 tomorrow, and I picked up a bunch of books the other day. I just haven't had a chance to read all of them, or the two that I have left. I got Mob Psycho Volume 1. I've been watching the anime, and it's gorgeous. I want to read the manga and see how good it is. It's the first time I bought manga in years.
Mob Psycho Part 2 is so fucking good.
Dude, Part 1 is so good already, so I'm so excited to Like, I'm 5 episodes in so far, and I'm loving every. I want to protect Regan with my soul.
Did you get to the fight with Dimple?
Yes, yeah, that's episode 3. Let me tell you, that's
so. The first time you go, time you go is 100. It's like
they treat you well. Oh man, that's such a good little fight there. Fuck, that was so cool. Yeah, everybody go watch Mob Psycho 100, because I just picked that up. And I also got the Mr. Miracle book that Tom King wrote, and that's getting...
Ooh, that's so good.
Yeah, I figured you would say that. So, I don't know anything about it, so I'm excited
you don't
I know
need
literally
to.
nothing. Yeah, no, that's what I wanted from this book. I wanted it to be as fresh as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Dark Side is, am I right?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I'm so excited to understand what that means in a week's time.
Darkseid is, and then now he's dead.
Cool. All right, great. That's it for my whole shtick.
All right, John?
The comics I'll be picking up this week is By Night number 9 from Boom Studios, another book by John Allison, writer of Giant Days. Mob Psycho 100 Volume 2 comes out this week. Wonder Twins number 2. Amazing Spider-Man number 17. I'll be picking up Magnificent Miss Marvel number 1, which is the new relaunch by Samad. Oh my god, I have it here with me. It's the Black Bolt writer. He also did Exiles, which was like pretty good. Saladan Ahmad with art by Minakyu Jung. Hopefully it's like still like pretty good. Runaways number 19, ending off cliffhanger of the last issue where one of the Runaways has left the group with Alex, but we're not really sure who. It's also the first issue of the new run on the series with the new artist Andreas Gunlot, who is replacing Chris Anka, who will be sorely missed, but it is what it is. I also picked up Assassination Nation, the new book by Kyle Starks and Erica Henderson. Erica Henderson was the longtime artist on Squirrel Girl, so you already know like the art's going to be like super great. The writing is done by Hollywood Kyle Starks. Who's just the funniest writer out there. He wrote Sex Castle, he wrote Kill Them All, he wrote Rock Candy Mountain. A lot of people know him as the current writer of Rick and Morty. Like, Kyle Starks writes the funniest comics. And I know that, like, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll probably see me post at least 1 or 2 panels from, like, really funny stuff coming from that book, because I guarantee you that there will be moments in that book that are just, like, super funny.
Cool, you just sold me.
But yeah, that is everything that I'm picking up for the week. You can follow me on Twitter at John JOHN _ FN _ Seiler SCILER. If you want to follow me, you'll probably see me post about my time in Seattle this weekend, because I'm going to be there for Emerald City Comic Con. Just basically like walking around, going to panels, hopefully meet some people. Hopefully that's like pretty fun. Also, like, I'm on a animation podcast called Legion of Tunes, where the next episode was my pick, and I picked episodes 1 through 6 of 1 through 4 and 1 through 4, and then 7 and 8 of Rama 1/2.
Yes, an anime I have never watched. I've heard about, I have never watched.
Yeah,
so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, and basically it's the first arc with the first rival, and then like the big antagonist, and then like the next 2 episodes after that are like the big antagonists for the show.
All right,
or basically the second rival. But yeah, that show's rad. If you want to follow along, go to Legion 2.
Yep. Yeah. So I'm in that podcast along with John and Alan. Our last episode, we did Alan's pick, which was Prince of Egypt, which was a throwback to when people did 2D animation. Big name studios. That was a DreamWorks
We all
movie.
miss those days.
Yeah. So besides that, me and Alan also do a podcast on here on the Phantom Zone every Tuesday, where we are rewatching Smallville Chronicles. Both of you guys have been guests on podcasts, and we are almost halfway into the first half of season 1.
Nice.
And
don't you
check out
yeah,
season
I was going to
3.
say,
Yeah,
I didn't want to correct anything. But
yeah, I was totally.
I was there for the end of season 1.
Yeah, and then don't forget to check that out. Go and give review, subscribe, tell a friend, 5 stars, all those things. And Alan, you do another podcast for Los Horror along with Legion of Tune. That is Los Horror Games.
Yeah, we talked about the official death of the PlayStation Vita.
I didn't know it hadn't officially died until now. Really?
Man,
They
Like-
basically stopped production.
man, the Vita is like a super cool console. It just got replaced by my Switch.
Yeah, the Switch was kind of the perfect.
You know what I
Yeah.
have that died? A PlayStation TV. I think I got it for like
I
20
still have
bucks.
one that works.
Wow. Like it just won't turn on?
Oh no, I have it. It works. It's just like it came out and then they were like, yeah, we're not gonna be gave up on this.
I thought you're like you bought that TV and then it just quit working.
Oh no, I got it for like 20 bucks for a while ago, and I was like, I think I have one game for it. I think I have Marvel vs. Capcom.
We also talked about what was confirmed today: the Halo, the Master Chief Collection coming to PC.
With Reach, don't forget that it has
with Reach.
I'm so ecstatic. I can find my Xbox Reach.
Reach was really good. I have not played a Halo game in forever.
Oh god, Halo is my comfort zone.
I need to turn my Xbox on again.
Nah, it's okay.
The last time I did, I played with Alan. We played Star Trek Online.
Oh, very nice.
Is there anything else, Al? I did not say the comics I'm picking up. I'm picking up Justice League Dark, Batman Who Laughs Good Night, Wonder Twins, and The Flash. Alan, was there anything you were picking up this week?
Yeah, Fantastic Four Volume 1, Justice League Dark Volume 1, Mr. Miracle, Flash, Dastardly Death of the Rogues, Cold Day in Hell, and Flash War.
All right. And I think that does it for this episode, this insanely long episode of And Now Comics.
We both know we've done longer.
Oh, yeah, we definitely have. I'm just kind of tired.
Yeah, me too.
Talking about all these terrible, comic
These absolute
outfits.
garbage designs.
Adios, everybody. We'll catch you next week.
I love you.
Wiki Wham Wham Wazzle.
There is no way out of here.